Good evening. How are we all right? Christmas is come and sort of going. We all fed up with cold turkey sandwiches yet? I know I am. Quality streets. Down with the coffee creams, are we? The only thing we ever use quality streets for in our house was watching the Lone Ranger in purple. It's really good. Hello, lilac. Really good fun. This reminds me, a couple of years ago I'd done something a bit like this. I stood in front of a room like this, a packed room. I thought I'll split it down the middle. Everyone this side, you're all drunks. Everyone that side, you're all pufters. Anyone who moves has to come up here and get their teeth kicked in. 5 minutes goes by, the fella gets up and walks across. I says, oh, you want your teeth kicked in, do you? He says, no, I'm on the wrong side of the room. One thing I have learned since being a member of this club, I now know how to get 3 old ladies to swear. Just get a 4th one to shout bingo. A fellow was in this hospital a couple of weeks ago. He says, Doc, he says, I want you to have a look at my leg. So he has a look at his leg like that. He says, there's something funny with it, Doc. He says, can you listen to it? He says, what do you mean listen? Just listen to it. So he gets down to his knee, listens. All he hears is, lend us a fiver. Lend us a fiver, go on. He thinks, well, that's a bit funny, so he goes a bit further down. Down to mate his shin, listens. Lend us 20 quid. Go on, lend us 20 quid. Oh, that's a bit odd. So he goes down a bit further, goes down to mate his ankle. Lend us 40 quid. Go on. The old doc looks at him and says, I know what that is, mate. Your leg's broken in 3 places. Chuck me in the next bed, says, Doc, I can't feel my legs. The doc says, I'm not surprised, Chief, you've amputated your arms. That goes to a psychiatrist. He says, I shut my eyes and I see Donald Duck. I blink and I see Mickey Mouse. He says, I know what that is, you're having Disney spells. Next bloke into the psychiatrist says, Doc, from Mondays to Thursdays I feel like a wigwam. Fridays and weekends I feel like a teepee. Doc says, you know what that is, you're 2 tenths. I'm reading the papers the other day, I see the star of Sister Act and Ghost, Whoopi Goldberg, is to marry horror legend Peter Cushing. She will be known as Whoopi Cushing. What is perhaps more strange is that 60s actress Jar Jar Gabor is to marry electric music legend Jean-Michel Jarre. She will become known as Jar Jar Jar.
Is that still recording? Have a look. Is that still recording?
Penguin comes in here the other day, goes up to the bar, he says, you see my brother in here? Simon says, what does he look like?
Oh. Yeah. All you've got to do is look for the arrows underneath where it says
2 old boys sat in the corner of that bar, one says to the other one, if you won the lottery, would you still love your wife? His mate says, of course I would. I'd miss her. Hey. Fella stood there at the bar, he says, Genie walks in. He says, I'll grant you one wish. He says, I'll have an everlasting pint of Murphy's. Genie does that. Up pops this pint of Murphy's on the bar. Takes a swig of it, puts it down on the bar, it fills up. Takes a swig of it again, empties it, puts it down on the bar, fills up. Does that about 5 or 6 times. He says, that's fantastic, that. Genie says, what are you having for your second wish? He says, same again. How can I put this nicely? Chappie walks into a shop in Soho's red light district, goes up to the counter, says to the girl behind the counter, says, have you got something that long, that thick, made of wax? Girl behind the counter looks a bit disgusted, says, sorry sir, could you say that again? Have you got something that long, that thick, made of wax? She says, yes we have. And he says, I suggest you light it, we're cutting your electric off. Fella goes into a barber's to get his hair cut. The old barber says, you having that cut round the back? He says, no, I'll have it cut in the shop if you don't. Kid gets a job with a lumberjack's yard, and the old lumberjack says, first thing you do is you go to the breaker's yard, get yourself a second-hand power saw. Goes to the breaker's yard, gets himself a second-hand power saw, and the old lumberjack says, I want 100 trees a day from you, son. He says, right, fine, goes out, comes back after a day. He says, how many trees you do, son? He says, 98. He says, well, that ain't 100, is it? Go on, one more chance. Comes back the following day after a day's work. How many trees you do, son? He says, 99. He says, well, that ain't 100, is it? You're fired. Oh, all right. He goes back to the breaker's yard to trade in his saw. And he says, what do you want to trade in this saw for? There's nothing wrong with it, is it? Let's give it a go. The kid goes, Christ, what's that noise? One last story now. I was down on a farm in Cornwall a couple of weeks ago, and there was this wishing well there. I was wondering just how deep it was. I pick up an ordinary pebble, drop it down, listen, 19, 20, nothing. God, that's deep, that. So I'll try something heavier. I picks up this house brick, ordinary house brick, drops it down the well, listens, 18, 19, 20, nothing. Good God, that's deep, man. I'll try something heavier. I find this railway sleeper, don't I? Pick up this great big railway sleeper, drop it down the well, 19, 20, nothing. God, that's deep, man. Suddenly, I hear this pounding of hooves behind me. Look round and there's this goat charging at me. Nostrils blaring, horns pointing. Anyway, I'll give it a slip, the side of the well and goes down it. 19, 20, nothing. Jeez, that's deep, man. The farmer comes up, he says, I think I'll ask how deep it is. Excuse me, Governor, how deep is this well? He says, mind that, he said, my goat. Well, what does it look like then? He says, well, what do you think it looks like? Horns and fur. I said, no, Chief, no, I ain't seen it. The old farmer says, it can't have got far, I tied it to a railway sleeper. Thank you very much. I'm off to try and find some units and see if I can flog them some Viagra. Good night. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, come on, let's have a round of applause for Keith Dunstan.